What's are some hard to swallow pills about relationships? Eventually, love is not being crazy in love all the time. Love is a crock pot, not a deep fryer. I thought this said love is a crack pipe, which I think is also true. At a certain point, you have to accept some particular negative parts of your partner's personality or move on. My husband is almost 50. We've been married for over 20 years. While he will continue to experience personal growth, there are parts of his personality that are likely to not ever change. The same is true for myself, of course. In a good marriage, it helps to be a little deaf. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And have selective amnesia as well. Putting off ending things for fear of hurting someone's feelings is the worst possible idea. If the relationship isn't right and you know you don't want to be together, then sparing someone's feelings in the short term only leads to more pain later down the line. Be honest and front the horrible conversation. This is something I'm struggling with right now. They are a great person and I don't want to hurt them, but I think my feelings have changed. It makes me sad and a little sick to my stomach to even think about hurting her. I mean, what you said is not so different from love, as in caring for the other. Try asking yourself what changed and how. Our feelings are not so stable and vary drastically depending on a number of things that often don't involve the question in hand. The point in doing this is to be sure of what the issue is. Is the problem something about her? About another person, like falling in love with someone else? Or is the issue in the dynamics of the relationship? Or even in yourself? Then, you can either explain everything to her or break up. Maybe you both can overcome this together. Maybe it's better to go separate ways. However, doing things that will hurt both of you based only on a perception of your abstract feelings will only cause you to regret rushing an important decision, even if it ends up being the right one. Losing your identity within a relationship is easy to do. Finding it again isn't. Remember to keep your friends and hobbies. After my last relationship ended, I felt guilty for not hurting. I was kind of happy, back in my garage, working on cars with my friends. Took a few road trips. My phone was quiet. Sleep was cool. You were up. I didn't even realize it, but I used to paint a lot. During my 7-year relationship, I didn't create a single thing, and in the 6 months since it ended I've completed 10 pieces. You could do everything right and still lose. God, this is hard to hear. My ex left me, and reading this, after giving it my all for 2 years, and having left nothing for myself hurts like hell. Dude, you left. In a good relationship, the other person adds to your happiness, doesn't become it. So while your ex is no longer in your life, you still got good old awesome you. Also, after leaving those relationships and experiencing better ones, the better ones don't require you to give it your all. They require you to be yourself, and yourself naturally wants to be your best for them. You got those to look forward to, which is nice. Sounds like you have quite a lot left for yourself. Just because you love someone doesn't mean you should be with them. A relationship needs more than love. A person I know really needs to hear this. They insisted too much on being in something with me. When I told them that it wasn't going to work, we wanted opposite types of relationships, that in the end it all ended pretty bad. Some people just think that love is going to make things magically work, without even considering that sometimes people that love each other are just incompatible to be together. This is one of the worst romantic situations one can experience. It is so hard to let go and move on when you find someone extremely compatible intimately. But life circumstances, timing, different ambitions and goals in life, all can work against a long-term relationship. In the end, you were just two ships passing in the night. It's an absolutely maddening feeling. You try to get over it, but even months later you're still wondering, up in bed late at night, will I ever find someone else like this? Not everyone will value your relationship like you do. It's very important to make sure you both have the same expectations and values. Otherwise, like two unequally yoked animals, you will continue to walk in circles over the same ground. When you decide to commit to your person, You are sacrificing your fantasy of being with them. In the crushing or beginning stages of a relationship, we are idealizing them as more perfect than they are. But we all have our faults, and in choosing to be together we are met with reality versus fantasy. From the Fundamentalists podcast titled Engagement. Your partner should be kind to you and vice versa. It's not okay for your partner to scream at you, or curse you out, or deliberately hurt your feelings. This isn't to say that it never ever happens. We all are human and occasionally we mess up. But if they are not consistently kind to you, if they aren't sorry when they are mean, and if they repeat it, then that's a problem. If you wouldn't accept the behavior from a friend, then you absolutely should not accept it from a partner. The idea that it's normal for your partner to be mean to you is so freaking bad, and I've seen way too many people accept crappy relationships because they think love means never having to say sorry and that getting screamed at is acceptable. If you wouldn't accept the behavior from a friend, then you absolutely should not accept it from a partner. I think that's a very good rule of thumb. Just because it's a romantic relationship shouldn't mean you have to put up with abusive behavior. It takes two to be in a relationship. If one person is putting in all the effort and the other isn't, it's eventually all going to fall apart when the one who is giving the effort stops. Great relationships are mutual. They aren't going to magically know you're upset with them. They aren't going to read your passive-aggressive signs. They aren't going to pick up on that. Be direct. If you are upset, talk to your partner about it. Not your friends. Not you parents. Not strangers on the internet, your partner. Not communicating can lead to rifts that never seal. Not communicating leads to posting on r/relationship_advice and hoping a bunch of internet strangers can either solve your problem or tell you what you want to hear without having to just go talk to your partner. Because that's scary and might not maintain the idea that you're fine and the other person is the source of your problems. You should not be anxious about the relationship all the time. You shouldn't be stressed about if they love you, or if they are going to leave you, or if they are out cheating on you, or what they are thinking. It shouldn't be a major source of stress. In fact, if it's a good partnership, both of your lives should be easier. The old adage about relationships being hard work isn't really accurate. Being with them shouldn't be hard or a battle. It's more accurate to say that a good relationship takes effort. Like you should both be striving for open communication, handle conflict in a healthy way, make each other happy, but it shouldn't be exhausting or hard or stressful to be with them. They should be a source of comfort. Undefined. Edit 2. User at SASSYTIT summed up what I was trying to say quite well. I personally have ADHD, and one of my symptoms causes me to be anxious and stressed basically 24/7. And that tends to lead towards worries that my current so is just gonna give up on my insanity and leave. But when I compare how I feel with him vs how I felt with my emotionally abusive ex, there's a world of difference. With my ex, that was the only thing on my mind. I changed my patterns and habits just to be around him and make him happy so he wouldn't leave me. With my current so, I don't have to do any of that. I stress about it more often than the average person does, but I can go days on end without having a thought. That's the difference. I definitely think it takes some work to maintain a good relationship, but you're right about the fact that it shouldn't become a major source of work and stress. That's just a sign that both people simply aren't compatible at all. A simple rule of thumb is that when the relationship starts to become more of a chore to maintain, and gives you anxiety for an extended period of time, it's time to make a change. Of course there will be rough patches, but issues should be addressed right there and then, and not be allowed to build up until the relationship explodes.